Fucking go.
Welcome into the DGD Podcast. As always, Robert Reynolds, the one and only Mr. Juan Daniels. Juan, how you doing, man?
Good, man. Good.
For what it's worth, it's a Monday, and could be worse, right? Hold on. Wait a minute. It could be a lot better, actually.
Yeah, that's true.
Listen, guys, it's been a very, very long time coming, but we're finally here doing our episode after taking a loss, man. 27-24 loss to Alabama in the SEC championship game. Kirby gets got by Saban again. And I think I'm going to save that question for Keon. Keon's traveling back to Texas. So Wednesday show, he'll be on. I'm going to let him ask that question because he wanted to personally ask that question. So we're going to save it. But overall, Juan, what did you see and what went wrong? Let's just start there.
Well, I mean, we could do, the good, the bad, and the ugly, right?
This is true, yeah.
What was good is the fight, right? Georgia went down swinging. They never gave up. You hate to see it, but Brock Bowers and Ladd McConkey gave it all they could, right? Which just those just the heart of the champions. Kendall Milton, big time playing. Carson Beck did everything that he could, pushing the ball down the field. The bad, if you look at it defensively, we just kind of talked about it before the show. Our line getting pushed around, but we basically had a 3-man front, and that's not normally what we're going to do. Is just necessarily have that 3-man front, but we had 2 spies on Jalen Milroe, so that makes you susceptible to getting ran on. Really, you got 2 spies. Also, 2, we didn't get that pass rush that we normally get because again we have two spies, and so that was just kind of bad. The ugly were the refs, man, and you never really want to put the game in the hands of the refs or just talk about the refs, but they were bad. They really, really were. And, the game changer to me was basically that catch/no catch right before the half. It was just bad. And again, you sit there and go all the way back to 2017 where, you clearly say he was not offsides. He was not offsides. So, you leave it up to the refs, and he would, even Joe Tessitore said, what the refs really, cost them this game. And that's a shame.
Yeah, I think, to the good part, right? Like that first drive, that first quarter, right, is something that I wish we would have seen consistently all year. I mean, let's be honest. That was about as efficient as a first offensive drive while also getting 2 consecutive 3-and-outs, right? That was the way to go. But then it turns into the bad, and it's just the reversion and the changing in the play calling very early on after the success confused the shit out of me, confused me to death. And what was terrible, I think, was execution. Defensively, execution was not there. Like, I know you talked about the schematics behind of it, right? You have to respect Jalen Milroe. You do.
Yeah.
And it was very interesting to see the 2 spies because they wanted to make sure that they couldn't. And unfortunately, I called this. Georgia was going to make him beat them through the air, and we were susceptible. Fucking running zone, right? Like Isaiah Bond running wide open on a little under route. Just, you know what I mean? Like that was to me. It was just shit that makes you annoyed. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, it wasn't. It's not your typical Georgia, right? It's just go with what got you there. To have 2 spies was completely unnecessary. Milroe was not that much of a threat. Again, all I'm looking at is the Arkansas game. When Alabama played Arkansas, when they played Auburn, when they played these teams and barely beating them, and they didn't do anything close to that. So for Georgia to go and do something like that was just a little bit bad. Chase White, you're right. They weren't calling PIs and holding. I mean, there was a couple times Ladd McConkey pretty much got tackled. We got guys are going through and they're just getting, putting into like, almost figure 4 leg locks, and they weren't calling anything. And, it just makes it difficult. When you again, a lot of times, you say you can't beat Bama and the refs, but that was truly a case. There's no way that you could objectively watch that, especially if you didn't have a dog in the fight. You're just looking at a game, and you'd have to be like, wow, like that was so ridiculously biased that it didn't make any sense.
Yeah, it was very annoying, man. I mean, to see it, still only lose by 3, and we did not execute hardly at all what we should have been. So there's some good there. But again, I want to get your thoughts. One, falling from 1 to 6. How did you feel about that?
You know what? It really was a tough deal, and that's hard only because of that late loss, right? You look at Alabama's loss. It was early in the season. You look at Texas's loss. It's early in the season. Unfortunately, that loss was in the SEC championship. What's crazy is the fact that, you look at a terrible TCU team. They lost their conference championship and they were still able to make it. Obviously, too, the field of play was a little bit different, not as strong as it was this year. But to be the top team for 2 years and then you fall that far, I just thought was a little crazy. And I can promise you this, if it were Alabama and they were the number one team and they lost, there's no way in the world they would have fallen to 6. It's just impossible.
I was shocked, man. I mean, I felt like we did ourselves no favors by losing that game. But again, you look at, like, I feel almost just as bad for Florida State. Like, I understand you're on your second and third string quarterback, but to go undefeated in a Power 5, regardless of how good or bad it may be, to then get pushed out when you know what I mean? Like, that, it was just something the committee did. I just was kind of, they broke a lot of firsts, if you will.
That was it was bad. I mean, you've got a month to get your backup quarterback back to where he needs to be. Also, it's a team game too, right? You look at, how great Florida State was defensively. I mean, Louisville, they were a juggernaut when it comes to, comes to offense, and they pretty much shut them down. And so you look at some of the past national championships. You remember when what was it, a 9-3 game or whatever it was, 16-3 with Alabama, LSU.
Well, no, that was the regular season, 9-3.
Oh, 9-3, and then it was a little bit less, going into the national championship. Remember when you had a 13-2 win with Oklahoma over Florida State, back in the day, and it was just a defensive game. And so for you to not give Florida State an opportunity just because offensively they're not great, doesn't mean that they didn't have a chance. We're not talking about Iowa. Like, Iowa's terrible. If it were Iowa and they were undefeated, 100%, I totally get it. But even in a sad case like this, if Iowa were undefeated and they won the Big Ten championship, I can almost guarantee you they would not have kept them out and put a one-loss Alabama and a one-loss Texas over them. So it's, kind of a slap in the face to the ACC. And yeah, the ACC has historically been weak, but again, why even play 13 games, go undefeated, only to be shut out?
Well, Chase says here, if that was the case, they're still saying that Florida State's better than Georgia. It's crazy how we fall from 1 all the way to 6.
Yeah.
And that's so you sit there as a Georgia fan, you're like, listen, ain't nobody fell out of the top 4 during the conference championship.
Ever. I mean, like I said, even TCU last year.
Well, think about it this way. Like, it is what it is, right? We lost, so we didn't control our fate at that point. However, what does it mean for Bama that beat us to jump, and Texas might add, to jump 4 spots and take our spot when we fall 5?
Yeah.
It's hard to really understand. You know what I mean? And let's be honest, next year we don't have to worry about this.
Yeah, it's
you know what I mean? Like,
well, and it's gonna be even worse next year. But Chase, you got a great point. If Bama's undefeated and Milroe got hurt, would they be out? Of course not. Why? Because they had, Buckner, who just decided to go into the portal. They also
Lax man.
Yeah, exactly. They also, had Ty Simpson. So to them, they had a bevy of quarterbacks that were going to be next man up. The same thing with Texas. If Quinn Ewers gets hurt, guess what? We got Malik Murphy, and then they were probably hoping that he would go down so that Arch Manning would have an opportunity to start in one of these games. So to your point, Chase, it's really sad at what they did. And the same thing too, if you look at at a Georgia and Beck goes down and Vandergrift goes down and you've got somebody else, they'd probably be like, oh, well, we're looking at it as a whole, so we don't know if Georgia would be able to compete. And that's pretty sad.
Well, I will say this though, man, like the fact that we got pushed to 6, right? Like I said, it's out of our control. But I will say this though, what I saw defensively Saturday, that's not a top 4 team defensively. It's not.
Okay, who are you talking about?
Georgia.
Oh yeah. Well, again, like I said, schematically, that was just it was just something that I've never seen out of Georgia. And you're looking at a a team of Alabama team that's very run heavy, very zone read, quarterback draw, quarterback sweep, and you're in a 3-man front with two spies, and all you got to do is you just watch those guys down, get your tackle or your guard on that next level, and cut that other spy off, and now you've got where you can run down the field. The other part too is, again, you've got 2 spies, you got 3 guys rushing, and then you can just sit back there all day. Like, I could have sat back there and made throws, little dumps, right?
I could for sure, man.
Even Robert, the wing T guy, could have sat back there and made throws. It was just an odd thing to do for Georgia versus them just saying, hey, just go out there and play. And you're right, Chase. We didn't play to any of our strengths. We didn't really throw the ball down the field like we did, like we should have. Here's the other side to it, though. And what people have to understand is Bobo is handicapped as a play caller, right? And the reason that he is because your head coach is a defensive coach. And until Kirby just completely allows Bobo to be free, then it's going to be a problem. So think about it. When you had, Nick Saban and Lane Kiffin, basically, they were arguing back and forth on the sidelines. And Lane Kiffin was like, either you're going to let me do what I need to do in order for us to be successful, or I'll leave. You can get somebody else in here. And guess what? Saban begrudgingly let go of the reins. And then all of a sudden, Alabama, who just became, was all this run, power, became these passing teams. Then you get back to back, great quarterbacks in there. And so until Kirby really, truly just allows them to do what they do, because even Monken's great play caller, great offensive coordinator, but you could still see, there were so many conservative calls, never really open the offense up. And until
we did truck sweeps too. Like, we did too many truck sweeps and stuff.
Oh yeah.
I felt like you should have, for what it's worth, we were so worried about their interior that we tried to push the edges, when I guarantee you we could have had success running between the tackles.
Yep.
Or off tackle.
Man, they could not stop Milton. They could not stop Dejan. They were, off tackle, they were killing. And it's one of those things, like, stay with it until until the cows come home. The other thing offensively that was just not good is Brock Bowers playing hurt. I appreciate it. He's a damn good dog, but he's not helping us playing. He's not that threat playing hurt. Ladd McConkey's not that threat playing hurt. It's just oh yeah, that's right. Just different things that just did not look Georgia like.
There was so many miscues, right? Execution wise, like I said, was one of my ugly aspects of it. But it was weird because after the Mims injury, we completely went conservative. And there was a stretch for 8 or 9 plays where it was just run. It's like, hold on. Why are we going back? Literally, we're setting ourselves back 15 years.
Yeah. And that's not and I know everybody, they're mad at Bobo, and they're like, oh, that's not a Bobo thing. That is a defensive head coach mentality, right? So, and it's funny because you look at the differences, right? You look at a Lincoln Riley. Lincoln Riley is an offensive coach. They score and put up lots of points, have zero defense, right? And then you got a guy like a Kirby who, in a perfect world, Kirby wants to run the football, bleed the clock, and if they win by 3 points every single game, that it's just joy and jubilee.
Well, that's just a defensive-minded guy. That's just what happens.
It's a defensive-minded guy, but at some point in time, until you just let go of the reins and just say, stop handicapping your coaches and just allow them to do what they need to do, which is, again, why do you think Nick Saban is so successful now? If he were still doing the same things that Kirby is doing right now, Nick Saban would not be successful. You just can't, now that defenses are evolving and they're doing, you can't be successful.
Yeah, you got to air the ball out too. I know we talked about it before, defenses are too fast. Even lesser teams, there's too much speed now. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, because think about it. We've seen defenses evolve over time, right? Even from back when Saban before the lane situation, linebackers play like your normal SEC linebacker, what 240?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Now the normal is 225, and you got to be able to cover sideline to sideline.
Yep.
Like the game's changed, right? And Nick Saban has adapted and done that.
And right now, because of the formula that we've had for the last 2 years, there has not been any adaptation, and that's the problem. And you like we were talking about before, if I were a wide receiver, and I've said this before multiple times on this podcast, if I'm a wide receiver, I'm not going to Georgia. I'm just not going to do it, and that's the reason why the Burtons left and Mitchell's left. Mitchell had a little bit more of a special circumstance, but still, I mean, he did not want to be in a situation where he's every fourth, fifth play he may go in, and that's if you sustain a drive. And now you look at a Burton who catches a touchdown, and both of them, Burton is going to be in the Final Four. Same with Mitchell and all of these guys. And then what's sad is, we bring a Ra Thomas and a Lovett, and what have they done significant this year?
Hell, it's just crazy, man. Like,
and I know they're probably sick to their stomach, thinking like, why did I waste my time coming here when you're barely touching the field, or the rotation is just so crazy? Same thing. I mean, we had Jack Saint on the we had Marcus on here, and we're talking to him. He had what, 2 catches?
30 yards.
And that's it, and he's a fantastic wide receiver. And we've got, Arian Smith, who goes and can completely change the game, but these guys are not consistently on there. Delp, who I thought was going to probably be an X factor, 1 catch, so it's just tough, man. It's kind of an old school.
It's weird because, like, I feel like the play calling change, the philosophy behind the play calling change led to some of that too.
Yeah.
But again, though, this is where we sat here and we talked about it, right? Like, Dylan Bell made a nasty catch on Terrion Arnold when he got tackled. And the reason I say that is because I've literally saw the screenshot of Terrion Arnold basically on his back tackling him, and the ball's not in the screen.
Yeah.
So I'll leave that there. But outside of that, though, man, like, there should be no reason. I understand Lab McConkey, and I understand Brock Bowers. Those are the guys. They've been consistent throughout the year, but they are hurt. And sometimes an injured player can become you see where I'm going with that one?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It can definitely become a hindrance more so than a way to open up things.
Yeah.
It can hold you.
Well, also too, like, the respect that normal teams would have given a healthy Brock Bowers just wasn't there. Same thing with Ladd. I mean, it just wasn't there.
Again, if that's the case, like, listen, I understand. And listen, both of those guys are DGDs. There's no question about it. We saw how Ladd played hurt all year last year, just grinded it out. Bowers, the same thing. But they weren't healthy, and you force-fed both of them.
Yep. Yeah.
So if like you said, you talked about receivers. One, if I'm a receiver, first off, it's a little bit different game now because, like, money talks. However, if I'm a receiver and I see that, and I'm on the depth chart right now, what does that lead? What does that mean? Like, outside of the fact now that, right, like, once they're gone, that opens up more opportunities. But at the same time, if you're not playing now,
yeah. Well, look at it. Look at, when we had Marcus on there, he's, he decided to stay. He's been there for 4 years, and he hasn't really had an opportunity to truly make a mark, like to make the mark that he should have, as far as being that guy. You got Dominic that came in there. Listen, when we were talking preseason, we were like, wow, we got Ra, we got Dominic, we've got all of these guys. It's going to be, just a offensive, just
We got
fireworks.
like the depth, like on paper, the depth was absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah.
But then you look at the situation where Dom Lovett comes in and for what it's worth, doesn't get the run that we would expect. Now, how much of that is because of Ladd? I don't know. But there was a lot of times we saw those guys on the field at the same time.
Yeah.
Now, at the same time, I also understand from a quarterback perspective, you have chemistry with Ladd, like because he's been there, right, for Carson's sake. Brock Bowers, the same thing. So I get that, but you need to utilize these guys. But at the same time, it's up to those guys to get open, create separation. We didn't see that.
Yeah.
We didn't see that Saturday.
Well, but that also comes with repetition. It also comes with getting a feel for the game, right? Me playing receiver, if I get in every fifth, sixth play, and then I just get an opportunity just to go in there, trying to get rewarmed up, trying to get timing and all that, it just doesn't happen. So again, everywhere you go, Texas has their top receiver. Alabama, they had all their receivers. Ohio State, everywhere you look, everybody has their core receiver. Even as bad as we were at Stanford, Ashton had Alec Iomanner, he had Tiger, and he had a couple of guys those were his guys. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. He had that chemistry, he had the timing, he had everything going, with them. So, and you play quarterback, you have to have a rhythm, you have to have timing, you have to have different things in a feel, and
it opens up a level of comfort too, like, and especially in clutch situations. Think about this: if I'm a quarterback, and I have my guy on the sideline, or not on the sideline, but on the field, and it's 3rd and 6. If I have a guy that I've had and thrown an out route to, right, or thrown a slant to over and over, and not just in game, practice reps, all that stuff.
But think about it too, Robert. You can look at that guy. You guys could have a look, and your look is like,
you already know.
I'm going to cut this guy off, and you throw it here, or I'm going to fake and you throw it there. You just have that chemistry that's just out of this world.
Well, let's think about this too, Juan. It's like this: you're a receiver. I was a quarterback. Let's try this. You sit here. If I'm looking at you and say we've got this chemistry, I can look at you and you already know, hey, fuck it, we're taking the top off.
Yep.
You look at it like for instance, I look and see it. I read the defense. You see what your guy's doing, right? Maybe he's trying to press you inside, right? Playing outside leverage. We already know at that point, so we just look and go.
Yeah.
Right. Like you hide it off, right? You play it off, but you get what I mean. Especially with your guy, you sit there, and again, I mean, we saw this happen with Carson Beck, right? Carson Beck on the fly makes a change, makes an audible, and sends it on a route and scores a touchdown. Like that can happen.
Yeah.
So it's a double-edged sword, right? Because it's benefited Georgia in a sense.
Yeah.
2021, it benefited us.
Well,
right?
but if you look at it, 2021 and 2022, it's defense.
True. I think the reason what I was mean by that is this.
In the stats that they showed, Georgia was giving up like 77 yards
rushing.
It was like And for 2021, I think it was like 78 for 2022, and then it was like 100 and something. So it's a little bit different. Like, so you can do so many things when your defense is that stout, right? You go all the way back to when the Baltimore Ravens won that Super Bowl, and then they had the worst quarterback on the planet, and then they still win. And they still win they still win a Super Bowl. So now, when your defense is not as stout and not as great as those previous two, now you're going to have to try to and you're still trying to do the same old thing, rinky dink, and do all this down the field. It doesn't work the same.
Yeah, I will say this: the reason why I said it's a double-edged sword, right, is because you give guys opportunities, right? More reps than had you not. You see what I mean?
Yep.
So you're not thrown into a game completely shell-shocked, or you know what I mean, like you have no clue what's going on. So you've had some experience throughout the moment, right? But that's what cupcakes are for.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I mean? Like that's what cupcakes are for. You sit there, get them guys out of there as fast as you can, run the score up, get the hell out of there, let your guys just throw. right?
Yeah.
And sometimes it's even to a point where sometimes you keep your quarterback there just to let them get reps, whatever the case may be, right? Because you never know when your number's going to get called, but you got to be ready for it. Like it's going to be called.
Yeah, you're right. What's up, Star Wars dog? He said it was tough being there. Plus no beer at the game. So
hold on. Was at least Chick-fil-A open?
Oh, I don't know. Was it? Yeah,
it's Saturday. It better have been. Boy, you're gonna have a renaissance here in a bad way.
Yeah.
I mean it's a double-edged sword because to your point, repetition, you build the chemistry, you get guys, you create Luther Burdens, you create Marvin Harrisons, even out of a deep core, right? Even out of a deep core. Let's compare for a second. Ohio State has assembled one of the deepest receiving cores in the country, but they're still running 2 or 3 at a time. Right? But the system, the kids understand, 1, they're going to get developed, but 2, again, all you have to do is wait, and you're going to be doing that right there. Mm-hmm. You're going to not saying you're going to be the next Marvin Harrison or whatever, but you have the opportunity.
Yeah.
Right? Just going to leave that there. Now, at the same time, you look at Georgia on the other hand, rotating in. It's nice because it's a fun stat to talk about when you have Carson Beck throwing to 8, 9, 10 different receivers in a game.
Yeah.
It's nice.
You're right.
It's unique. It's unique.
But still, like you said, and again, like Chase basically said it, you create them by constantly using your wide receiver core. And so that's why year after year Ohio State's been able to put guys in the league, but they, like you said, they waited their turn. But again, you look at every single program, even like I said, the worst in Stanford and to the highest up, they have a receiver core, and it's their guys like Quinn Ewers. You look again. You have a Dunze for Washington. He's the standout guy. You've got
good though too.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, but again, you've got a a certain group, and the same thing, Robert. We talked about it with the running backs, right? I would have ran Kendall Milton until the wheels
until they stopped it.
Yeah,
until they stopped it.
Until they stopped it.
Because Saban made adjustments. Saban made adjustments.
Yeah.
The thing about it was,
and that's the thing. So people will say, why couldn't it have been like the first drive? Well, great coaches make great adjustments, right? And
we've seen this. We've seen this.
Yeah, they make great adjustments. And so again, you look at Michigan. Michigan has Blake Corum. He's their main guy, but then they got the other
Donovan Edwards.
Yeah. Then they have the other. So all of these guys have their main guy that they are just they run runs, give them a break, and bring somebody else in there, fresh. But again, from a offensive lineman standpoint, right? You get used to blocking a certain way for certain running backs. One of them's going to be stronger, faster, quicker. They're going to hit the hole quicker. One of them's going to be a little bit more patient. So to sit there and try to figure all that out and do your blocking schemes and all of that, you just don't provide consistency. And that's just going to be one of those things that you're just going to have in order for us to evolve and get back to where we need to be. As bad as that game was, we're not far off.
Dude, we only lost. Well, think about it. Think about it this way. It may sound doomy and gloomy right now, folks, but I'm going to tell you something right here. Not first drive, okay? We saw the first drive, right? We get that. Do you realize how fast we scored on that drive when Anthony Evans returned that punt? Do you realize how fast we scored?
Oh yeah, that
showed the potential.
Quick,
but again, the issue was in between that. Georgia always has this quarter where we always have a bad quarter, and the second quarter to me was what stood out to me.
Yeah,
like we had a good first quarter, but the changes it took over all quarter, and things started to slip. Right.
Yeah.
Now at the same time, you talked about the catch to Isaiah Bond, which I'm gonna bring this up. It's not an excuse. I want to preface this for anyone that wants to try to clip this. This is not an excuse. I just have the question. Why in that moment that was not reviewed? However, when we fast forward, Arian Smith catch immediately reviewed while we were trying to go tempo.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And keep in mind that catch was a 4th down conversion.
Yeah.
So it could have turned the tide. You should have reviewed it.
They don't score a touchdown, you know?
I mean, also, well, I will say this, though. Another thing, though, you were at like 3rd and 20? Why'd you give up 16? Because it could have been avoided. You never know.
Yep, that's true.
You never know.
Yeah.
But again, I mean, it's just, to me, if it's 4th down, if it's a 4th down conversion, regardless, right? And there was any kind of, whether he called it or not, obviously we have to accept that it was a catch.
Yep.
We saw the ball. Now, we saw it on the TV that it kind of moved around to hit the ground a little bit.
I mean, it was clearly laying on the ground. Like, the ball is on the ground. And that's the thing. So, somebody tried to say, well, when he caught the ball and then his knee hit the ground, so he's automatic. No, you have to complete the catch all the way through.
Yeah. It's just one of these things where, again, you don't – and like I said earlier, there were more opportunities for Georgia to bounce back from that to win that ball game.
Yep.
So understand if for some reason a Bama fan listen, the only fan base I'm going to hear at this point is a goddamn Alabama fan base. That's the only one I'm trying to hear from. So if a Tennessee fan or a Florida fan come in here, you can kindly fuck off.
Oh, yeah.
I
tell you what, though, the only thing, and this was my issue at the beginning, right, is you hate to lose. I hate, what did they say? I hate to lose more than I love winning.
Yeah.
But it was one of those humility type deals. My issue is we were becoming those Alabama fans, the people that, that we just hate. I mean, you go and look on social media and I mean, we're griping about, not beating a team by 40 points, and you've gotten people up in arms. Oh, get rid of Boba. I'm like, really? Like, whatever happened to that?
Terrence Edwards went with it, didn't he?
Yeah. Whatever happened to, just being grateful. Like, when I miss when we won that championship, that very first championship. I miss that fan base, that group, that humility, that, man, it's been 40 something years and we finally did it. Then we turned into some jackasses, you know what I'm saying? And so, and those are the fans that I hope, man, you guys just go somewhere, get away from us. Like, I just, whatever. And then let's just get back to who we are. I think that we're going to go and beat the absolute brakes off of Florida State. And, it's a learning thing, right? It's one of those things. It's learning. We're going to be back. We're fine. For all of this, and one of the things that I think Jeff put down on there, all of the things that could have gone wrong went wrong, and we still only lost by 3 points.
Yeah, for those curious,
that's scary.
Well, yeah, no,
that's
think about this.
Very scary. Any other team, and let me just tell you, Stanford, we made those types of mistakes and got beat by like 50. You know what I'm saying? So any other team would have gotten completely blown out. If you reverse that, and if all of that happened to Alabama gets beat by like 30. So we're fine. We're fine. This type of situation right here is going to make us hungrier. It's going to make us mad.
Better.
For sure. But, and also too, think about this, Robert, and I said this 2 years ago, before we won our first national championship. I said, once we win our first national championship, I truly believe we'll probably win like the next 3 out of 5. We already won 2.
It's not off the table.
Yeah, we already won 2.
It'll be difficult though. It will. The 12th team, which, by the way, now that the regular season's over and we've got bowl season. After bowl season, folks, in this offseason, the show's not stopping, folks. Mm-hmm. It's not. There's a lot of shit to talk about. I guarantee you that.
Oh yeah.
Sorry to cut you off there, Juan.
No, you're good, man.
I will say this though. After we get done with the Division of Motor Vehicles miserable against Florida State, I'm just going to let you know this. It's about to be the off-season motto for me. You're going to hear me say this multiple times, folks. Trim the fat. If you want to know, stick around because you're going to know. Okay? I'm just going to leave it. Keep those words down. It's 3 words. Trim the fat.
Yep.
You about to understand. Let's do this one. Let's do this. We've had our piece. We've aired our grievances. I think. Any final thoughts on this game to put this shit to bed finally?
No, man, just hey, if you take the refs out of this game, we're headed to the national championship, and that's my biggest gripe. It's don't let them dictate the game. Take them out of it. It's a different ball game, and even with that, just the attitude and the fight, I'll take that any day.
I'm going to say this. It brings this feeling of surreality. Is that the word? Maybe the feeling of being surreal, right? Brings it back to reality, right? Taking a loss. We've went 29 straight games without one. With that being said, it's okay for it to hurt.
Mm-hmm.
It's okay for it to hurt. That's what it's supposed to be because it shows you we care. We're fan base. Right? We're fans of your team. You got to understand though, we're 12-1. We're about to play in a New Year's Six Bowl. While that might not be our standard and our goal, there are a lot of teams out there, Florida, that wish they could be bowling right now. And to that point, you have extra practices. You've got early enrollees coming in a couple weeks. Guys, the future, the future's fucking bright.
Oh, it's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful.
I'm telling you right now, Juan, when we go back on this regular season recap, we might do a regular season recap soon here too. I want you to understand something. Do you remember during the early part of the season where we had Cash Jones, Roderick Robinson, and Dylan Bell as the only running backs?
Mm-hmm.
Guys, it's going to be insane because you've got 3 running backs you got in the recruiting class this cycle that are coming in. One, there's also maybe a portal running back. 3 little letters. I'm not going to say no names, but if that happens, boy, yeah. It's nasty. But no, it's these things like this right here. Offensive line, guys, we've had liabilities, and I've went ad nauseum at this point. Like trench game, like the trenches, guys, it will be fine. It will be fine. You're still the fucking Georgia Bulldogs, right? Juan, is your blood? If you cut yourself, is it red and black?
Oh,
at
yeah.
This point?
Oh, for sure. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. We're still built on, we're still built on toughness. Here's the other thing too. When you truly know who you are, there's not a single team in that top 4 that would want to play us. You talking about teams shivering, Michigan, Washington, and anybody else was like, I hope to goodness they do not let Georgia in.
I'll say this. Alabama would play it and they would want the smoke, but also I guarantee you they understand just how hard it is to beat the same team twice.
Oh, they would not. They do not want it again. They shot their shot. That was about as good as it gets. If you ask them would they want a chance again, they would absolutely say no.
Oh, they would say yes, but what you're saying is I know what you're talking about.
They would say yes. They would say no. Okay. Inside.
Deep down in there.
Yeah, inside, yeah.
Okay. Fair point. Chase over here laughing. Guys, I don't think y'all understand. This is us taking it out on a loss, right? First time we've had this in 2 years of the show, at least. This was bound to happen to some degree. However, the show must go on, and Georgia continues to fight another day, right? We obviously made a bowl game, so there is that. One, we've been 45 minutes, man, and I haven't even brought up our sponsors, guys. Let's do a quick shout out, guys over at Apotheos. We're gonna do a double ad right here, guys at Apotheos and Alumni Hall, guys. See this right here? Boom, Alumni Hall, baby. Love it. Comfortable shirt, love it. Licensed Nike, Cutter and Buck, right? All these brands, all licensed Georgia gear. Get it at our website, dgdpodcast.com. Go to our sponsors. You can click Alumni Hall. You can start shopping. Hell, Juan, you can get supported. You know that? People, if you want to support Juan, the great, right? The great one right there, right? You can support him. You can use his link, and you could pay my man.
That's right. That's right.
Maybe pay for some,
Apotheos coffee. Oh,
no, yeah.
Give me like a little
Just maybe, just a little peach fuzz up top.
hairpiece. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll trim my beard up and give you some if you need it. Hey, whatever we got to do, get that '90s haircut back, Juan.
Yeah. Oh yeah. The good.
But
old
boy, you know what though? It's funny. You sit there, kind of reminiscing on this one. So keep me on the track after I get down this rabbit hole, please. It was very interesting to watch your highlight tapes, dude. Seriously, like because Bobo, right? Everybody wants to shit on Bobo for some reason, but I do recall Bobo just slinging that bitch down the field, and the one and only catching that bitch for tutties.
Yeah, and you talk about chemistry. I mean, we had that chemistry. It's the same thing with, I told him the same thing I told Eric Zier. I said, listen, man, if push comes to shove and whatever, just throw it my way. And they did. They just kind of had that confidence in me to do that. So again, when you just talk about chemistry, that's huge.
Speaking of, before I get back to Apotheos, I do want to. I'm not forgotten. Shout out to Coach Bobo at the Broyles Award tonight. Yeah, I don't know if he won it because I don't know if he won it or not, but he did go to the Broyles Award. So that was pretty cool too. Yeah. Speaking of Apotheos, guys, do you like the Classic City Collective?
Oh yeah.
The fact that you can support the Georgia Bulldog football players and athletes all across the board.
Yes, indeed.
Well, guess what, folks? Get yourself some damn good coffee, right? Go to our website, dgpodcast.com. Shop Apotheos. Every single bag, every single K-cup that you get, 20% of the proceeds from each of those will go to the Classic City Collective. So it's technically an NIL play. So you want to support the dogs, but you don't want to do it through the collective. Hey, just get you some coffee and you help them out anyway. And listen, I'll tell you right now, if you want my personal testimony, Classic City Collective blend, the dark roast, best one of the bunch. Now, I've had all of them. I'll tell you this one, I've had them all. And the bad one in the bunch.
That's what's up.
I guarantee I'll put that on my mama. No, seriously, I'll some good stuff.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people like so not everybody can drink straight black coffee. So one of my goals was to drink straight black coffee, and that's the one that I can do it with. So, and that's a dark roast.
That's
100%. At that point, I was like, oh, it's a wrap. Best coffee in the business. But yeah, no, shout out to Apotheos, shout out to Alumni Hall for supporting the show, especially through the season. Obviously, the regular season, I should say too. They've put up with us the whole season. Can you believe it? Can you believe it? Our antics.
Yes, indeed.
Had to put up with Kobe. Even he ain't here to defend himself.
Yeah.
I gotta take a shot every once in a while. Keep him honest.
Yes, sir.
Well, no. Obviously, we talked about the Bama game. Let's put that to rest. Regular season conference championship is now done. Right now done. With that being said, though, now we look at in that mix of time between our bowl game, you got the transfer portal. Transfer portal opened up. Did you hear, Juan, how many portal entries, FBS football players, as of 10 p.m. enter the portal?
No, how many?
1,183 officially enter the portal.
Wow.
And as of 10 p.m. and it's day one.
Day one. Yep.
It's a 30-day window. That's absolutely nuts.
Yeah.
One, I want to get your thoughts on this. How crazy would shit have been if the portal was around when you played?
Oh man.
You'd have went to Auburn, wouldn't you? I bet you would have.
No, I wouldn't have. I wouldn't have gone. I wouldn't have gone. I think it was a little different, back when I played. We didn't have the social media. We didn't have, that desire to all of a sudden be a superstar. You just kind of knew you just had to do your time in order to develop. I mean, very rare was there a freshman, even sometimes a redshirt freshman or even a sophomore that got a lot of playing time outside of special teams. Here we just have everybody wants to be on social media. You talk about 5 stars, you talk about all of this. And if you're not happy, then the very first thing you want to do is you want to go and jump ship. So you look at a Kyle McCord,
a Honda Accord.
Yeah. Kyle, listen, dude, like you've gone, you lost one game and you're already ready to hop in the portal. Same thing with Dylan Gabriel. You lost 2 games.
I'm a defend him for a second. Deep down, I feel like Ohio State pushed him out for a way to get a portal quarterback. Watch.
Yeah, that's true. Well, that's what happened to MJ Boris, who was at NC State.
NC State.
NC State. That was
because they're probably going to go Grayson McCall.
Yeah. And I think that's happening at a lot of places, is where they'll come in and say, hey, listen, we think you're good, but you're going to be better somewhere else, and we'll help you get to where you need to be.
Now, they're not wrong all the time either, though.
Yeah.
Right now, the problem is kids have to understand there's different circumstances, right? Some kids willingly leave, right? Some seek playing time, some seek more NIL opportunities, whatever. But then some people are kind of processed out, right? I hate it's business, though. You got to understand that it's business. Kids get processed, and it's a lot of schools, not just Georgia. I guarantee you that, right? But you look at these situations where you've got some pretty damn good quarterbacks in here, in the portal right now. Like you said, Gabriel. You've got Riley Leonard from Duke.
Yep.
I think that'll be interesting to see where he goes. I think we have an idea. But like
Grayson
you said,
McCall is, Grayson McCall's in there.
I still let him go to NC State and suck it up. I mean, and obviously we ain't even talked about it. But Georgia, right, in day one, they had some portal entries too. So you start off with Darius Smith made his entry known ahead of time, but you've got Darius Smith, you've got Jonathan Jefferson, Brock Vandegrift. Brock Vandegrift's going to go somewhere.
Yeah,
thinking Kentucky.
Either Kentucky or Auburn.
Auburn.
It's going to be.
I think Auburn. Listen, if he don't do this, but if he went to Auburn, he gonna have some fucking receivers to throw to.
Yeah,
gonna have some fucking receivers to throw to.
He's actually going to have. Auburn's defense is not bad. They're going to have a. They're going to have.
It's getting better. It's getting better.
Yeah, they're going to have a. I mean, again, they had a chance to beat us. They had a chance to beat. They should have beat Bama.
But they didn't. That's just Auburn way.
Yeah.
But Hugh Freeze, listen. See, Chase gets it already. He understands.
Yeah.
He got the assignment. But no, to continue though, you got Jackson Meeks, Austin Blasky. Listen, Austin Blasky going to the portal is going to hurt us at some point, because the dude, his work ethic is phenomenal. His ability to play all 5 positions is crucial for situations like that.
Yep.
It's going to hurt. But at the same time, this is you recruit the way you do for situations like this.
Mm-hmm.
Like, also, in my opinion, Austin Blasky, dude. And then CJ Madden, which I want to see him get more. But at the same time, when you look at the linebacker haul that we've pulled in these past 2-3 cycles, it's so hard to find playing time.
Yeah.
Like, it really is. Because I mean, CJ Allen coming in strong, Raylan Wilson.
Yep.
And you still got Troy Bowles.
Portal. That'd be great.
I mean, you can call out players by name. I'm not going to attest to it, but yeah, I mean, and Meeks either. Shay said Meeks
ain't no hoe either.
Nah, I mean, Meeks is a good dude too, man.
I love it. I love it.
But I mean, this is what happens, right? You're going to get that, but you're also going to look through the portal, right? I mean, we saw this last year, right? You go get you go get Lovett and Rara, right? I think I tell you right now, if you don't pony up and get some bona fide defensive line help and receivers, we're hurting. I think I know Georgia, if you follow crystal balls, Georgia got a crystal ball for London Humphreys up there at Vanderbilt. If you don't remember him, that's the receiver, 6'3", 6'3", like $190, $195. Ran a 10.66 in high school. Yeah, at 6'3".
I'll be shocked if he comes here. I really will be. I'd love, but again, until you get some consistency in that receiver room, it's just going to be tough sledding.
Yeah, I mean, I want to see somebody step up. And again, we were sitting here during the offseason when we had Arian Smith and CJ Smith, Anthony Evans coming in, Yazid Haynes in here. Then you bring in Lovett, you bring in Rara, Ra being the big bodied guy that you want. Now at the same time, Ra's kind of been plagued with some injuries here and there, so I'm not gonna hold him as much. But like, love it. You know what I mean? Like, just not enough usage for some reason. It's just like, so I feel like Georgia's going to be extremely active in the portal to fill some pieces back in.
Mm-hmm.
But you've got to capitalize on these guys. You've got to hit on these guys. Dude, there's a Texas A&M, right? That, what do you want to call it? God, it's like a wholesale liquidation event.
God, and then you got the guys and everybody's like, well, come in here. I didn't know that Jimbo Fisher was going to get fired, and had I known that, I would have chose somewhere else.
Sliced bread told me so.
Yeah, get out of here.
Yeah, no. That liquidation sale's happening right now. By the way, I don't know if you saw this. Well, you probably did. Fran Brown taking the head coaching job at Syracuse. So our DB, we now have a DB's coach. Juan, if you had your choice, is there a defensive backs coach that you would want to see coaching the secondary?
Man, I liked. I can't even think it's the defensive coordinator. He was at Illinois last year. I don't know where he ended up going. To me, I thought Illinois had the best secondary.
Mm-hmm.
Also, too, who else?
Iowa. Give me the Iowa boy.
Give me Penn State. Penn State has a fantastic secondary.
I'll say this though too. Keep in mind Iowa, Iowa's guy could do that. Yeah. You've got also I think it's another thing. No, I think Belk, the Houston.
Yeah.
I've heard that's a name. I mean, I know this probably doesn't work out like we would think it would be, but how cool would it be to have Champ
Bailey?
Yeah. See, I always get worried about former players trying to turn coach because it always doesn't work out.
No, it doesn't necessarily. So I think that he would, just off of name recognition, would be able to get some good guys in there, but it's really, would you be able to teach them and help them to understand scheme and doing all that.
See, I also heard that Coach BMAC interviewed for the Pitt OC job. Now, at the same time, there hasn't been anything official or whatnot, but I thought that would be interesting because you have to, if he were to take that, then you start contemplating what happens at receiver.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a couple names I can think of off the top. No, give me Juan Daniels. Juan Daniels will coach him up. Juan Daniels said, "No, I'm 11 for a fucking reason."
Yeah.
You got this. Kirby knows. But no, in all seriousness, too. I mean, like Terrence Edwards would be fun to see coach. I think.
Yeah.
I mean,
right now he's the passing game coordinator over at Milton. They'll be playing next Wednesday and not this Wednesday, but the next Wednesday in the state championship.
Who's Milton play?
They're going to play Walton.
Oh, that's going to be a good one.
Yeah, it's going to be Walton.
Is that the 6 or 7A?
That's 7A. Walton has that Helsinki kid that's going.
Oh, has Heglinski?
Yeah, Heglinski. Yeah,
that's going to be interesting. That's going to be interesting because, like, I work right across from Wake Forest.
Oh yeah.
I see the stadium. It's a small fucking stadium, dude.
What is it? Was it hold like 30?
31. Now I'll tell you this. The reason why I say that is because I've seen 31,000. That's like the smallest in the Power 5, and I've seen the second biggest in the country with Penn State.
Yeah.
Two different.
Way different.
Oh shit! It's too different. It is. Yeah, Penn State was an experience.
Yeah. Happy Valley.
No, that was before the Michigan game.
Yeah.
Place was nuts. But no, other than that though, right? Hold on. Goodness gracious. Sorry about that, guys. Wow. Speaking of the portal stuff, we talked about the guys that are going here. Listen, we're not done, right? Guys are going to be leaving, right? But then you'll also have the guys declaring, and you'll have guys returning. If you had your wish, Juan, since it's about to be Christmas time and Santa Claus is coming out, I want my wish list. Okay, I'm gonna talk to Wanta Claus. So hope you don't mind me talking to you. Here's my wish list. I want for Santa. I want for Christmas. I want Walter Nolan. Can you get that for me? Ask and you shall receive.
Yeah.
But no, I want a wide receiver one out of the portal. I do. It's nice to get Lovett. It's nice to get Rah, but they're not bona fide dudes. Now the problem is you're not going to get a wide receiver one unless there's some tampering involved. Just hate to say that.
Yeah.
Star Wars says he won't. Oh damn. Okay, he wants Everett to transfer, please. Boy, oh boy, oh boy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think there's some people gonna get some coal, and apparently Star Wars is saying that he's gonna get some coal, huh?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Well, it's getting close to Christmas time, dude. Holy shit.
He ain't like
one. You know what scares me though? One, kids are gonna watch the show, and they don't even realize that they're seeing Wanta Claus in person.
Oh yeah.
Like I'm surprised. Like you ain't even got the white beard. Like it's scare me, man. It's getting too close to not have it. By the way, we're gonna do this. Since you're on one, JOGG was up here earlier talking. I guess when we were talking about throwing passes behind that during the Bama situation. Yeah. I'm trying to. Yeah, here he goes. So she said she said she could have totally made some of those throws. Yeah, I don't buy it one bit. Don't buy it one bit.
I mean, number one, Utah is trash. And the only thing that she could probably throw the ball into would be the trash. And then she would go and then dive into the trash after that. So there's that.
Look what I can do. Oh my God. Yeah, so go see the Footwork King or something. Yeah, that's to me though, man. Like, getting back on track. Getting back on track though, like I want to see she's here.
Oh,
she's here. Man. Oh, we're busted.
I think she turned up her hearing aid.
Oh no. Oh Jesus. Do they have those?
I don't know. It's probably like something like handmade or something like that.
Did she get the Equate version or the Dollar General version?
Yeah, probably the dollar store.
Oh damn! Do you got Dollar Tree or Family Dollar out there? Both.
Yeah.
Let's see. Star Wars asking are you talking to me or Juan? Because Juan, there's no replicating it. Like I don't think you understand. Star Wars hasn't been here long enough to understand what's going on. But no, I mean, other than that, Juan, let's do this. We've talked about the portal, stuff like that. As we move forward, as we move forward to prepping for the bowl game and eventually the offseason and stuff like that, I want to get your opinions, yes or no. All right, we'll do some yes or no's. Obviously, Brock Vandergriff entered the portal. Spoke with Greg because I mean Greg's been on the show before. Told him congratulations on Brock graduating. Hope and wish him the best. Never gonna do that. Never gonna do someone dirty. So, but with him transferring out, yes or no, Juan, does Carson Beck return?
Yes. Yes. Yeah.
Answer that in the comments, guys, as we go along. We'll see it.
He hasn't
the sample size.
He hasn't done enough to where pro scouts are like, yeah, he's that guy.
Well, there's a lot of people loving on him. Like he's a first round pick right now. The problem is, or not the problem, the question is, if he comes back against the schedule that we've got next year and does the same thing and balls out, you're looking at number one overall. However, you know this if you go to the next league, go to the next level. Sometimes being number one isn't always what it is pushed out to be. A lot of money, but a shitty organization more than likely. So those are listen. Regardless of, there's been talks about an NIL package and stuff like this. Regardless of what Georgia can muster up, I'm telling you right now, it's nowhere even close to even the 32nd pick number. Guaranteed money. It's not.
Yeah.
But it does seem that he does like it, though. So it makes me think maybe it is.
Yeah.
Let's see. Here's a good question. Juan, yes or no? Does Nazir Stackhouse leave?
No.
No. I don't think he does.
Nope.
I don't think he does. Oh, man. Juan, do we have over 10 players? I think we're at, no, I ain't going to do 10. Do we have 15? Do we go under 15? Do we stay under 15 in regards to guys hitting the portal? I think we're at 6 or 7 right now.
Ooh, and we got. So I say we go over, because it's not only just this 30 days. Then you got
the second window in the spring.
Yes, the second window is going to be a lot heavier because you're going to have you'll have your spring practice. You're going to know exactly where you are on the depth chart, and then after that, and that's what happened, and a lot over at Stanford, the backup quarterback that we have right now, he actually played the spring game at Syracuse, saw where he was on the depth chart, and decided to hit the portal on the very last day. So do we go over? Yeah, I would say that a lot of guys are gonna, you're gonna have your, early people that come in, and then like I said, you'll get an opportunity to truly assess where you're gonna be. You're gonna see the writing on the wall. If it's not where you want to be, then just think about it. Because if you're at the University of Georgia right now, you can go to an ACC, a Big 10, Big 12 school, and probably make a push for a starting position. That's just how deep and how good Georgia is.
Yeah. See, I was sitting here thinking about it. I wasn't thinking the second window. I was thinking only the first 30 days window here.
But if the first 30 days under, for sure.
I think the better number for first would probably be 10.
Yep.
But no, I mean, you're not going to catch me doing this. I'm never going to put somebody in the portal before they do it themselves. Yep. I don't think that's just bad business, in my opinion. But I do think there are some guys on this team that are going to benefit from moving through the portal, right? We talk about the negative side of recruiting and the portal way too damn much. Keep in mind, guys, some of these guys that can go, right? Like they can find, like maybe some of them are walk-ons at this point, right? Maybe they lost their scholarship for the next semester, right? They hit the portal, they get a full scholarship, so their education is paid for again, or paid for the first time, right? Like we have to understand that there's some good that comes out of the portal because it does give guys opportunities, right? I mean, think about it. Like Dan Jackson stuck around, right? But what if Dan Jackson would hit the portal? He would have gotten a guarantee. He would have gotten the damn full ride somewhere. But he stuck it out and used NIL to pay for it, which was awesome as shit too.
Yeah.
But the portal does give opportunities, right? And we kind of view it as this kind of a machine. I mean, it is a machine. It is what it is. But it's just this regurgitating machine. But at the same time, we don't slow down to think about the possibilities and opportunities that guys are getting. I mean, CJ Madden, good player coming out of Cedar Grove, right?
Yep.
The issue is sometimes injuries happen, right? That's what happened with Blasky too, right? Blasky's a damn good dog for what it's worth. Yep. Stuck around, learned every position on the offensive line, had reps and stuff like that. But sometimes he was expecting a heavy workload this season. He got hurt and then shit happens, right? Him going to the portal was an opportunity. Hell, Brock Vandegrift sat here for 4 years, got a fucking degree, right? Not going to be mad at all about that. Dude got a degree from the University of Georgia. Now he's going to go take his shot and try to push his, see where he goes and try to make it to the NFL. Dude was a 5-star out of high school. Yeah. Sat here and developed and whatever. Now he's going to get an opportunity somewhere to be the guy and go from there. we always worry about the negative side of shit, but we don't look at the positives and the opportunities that guys get if they're brought onto a team. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
No, I haven't heard anything on David Daniels or Muse. I haven't heard anything about those. I mean, listen, it started today, right? It started today. I'm pretty sure at this point, Juan, you can probably correct me if I'm wrong. Kirby and the staff are talking with these guys. Anybody wanting to possibly leave to the portal, any guys wanting to possibly return, things like that. Now the returning situation and declaring be a little bit later, I think.
Yeah.
Because I mean, you're looking at NFL draft, and it's probably after bowl season, I think.
Yeah.
Is that after bowl season when that stuff really starts to amp up?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Okay. But like portal season, you'll kind of get some guys. You'll be dealing with opt-outs too. So, which brings me to my last question, Juan. Do we have over 5 guys opt out?
Yes. I'll say yeah.
Do you think one of them's Brock Bowers or Lad McConkey?
Both 100%.
I mean, would you be mad?
No.
Could you be mad is a question, probably better.
Yeah, you could, because again, it's you're playing for pride, but then again at the same time, if these guys are, doing something for their future, I would be more forgiving of Brock Bowers, because again, he had the
surgery and stuff.
The surgery, and still came back and did everything that he could.
No, right? Lad McConkey did this. Oh, he didn't have the surgery, but I mean, you could see both of those guys literally, like we said earlier, playing on one leg.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, the thing about it is, like, you have to respect that, but like,
then from a draft standpoint too, like, again, I can't be mad at Brock because he's got the potential of, going in the first round.
Yeah, I still think Lad. I mean, way too early. I think Lad would be a nice 3rd round pick. Somebody's gonna get a nice little value pick there. Yeah. I'm just worried about his injury history, man. Like when it comes, this, if you've been to the next level, Juan, like when they harp on that shit hard.
Well, it's not that. It's, because I went to the combine. They twist and turn and bend you all kinds of ways, and X-rays, MRI, they do it all. And so if it's something, if you got a chip nail, they're going to find it. So,
well, I think that's what happened with Kobe, right?
Yeah.
Well, apparently.
Yeah.
But either way, though, man, I'm not going to be mad. And again, we've got time. Trust me, we've got time to talk about this more in depth.
For 3 years, they gave us everything that they had. I'm not going to be mad at those guys.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I think Kendall Milton already said he's playing in the game.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think it's a nice way for Kendall to go out. I think it'll be fun to see how he goes out. I'd love for him to go out with a bang for sure.
Yeah.
Well, other than that, though, man, I think we put the Alabama game to rest. We've talked about the portal and how it just opened up. How do you say we wrap this thing up and wait for the guys to come back on Wednesday? Yeah, we should be robbing the gang. You know what I mean? As we're getting close to Christmas time.
Yes, sir.
It just has a ring to it, or two actually. Not a third in a row, but we'll have to fucking make do with it.
Yeah.
I'm just telling you, man. What were your initial thoughts, Juan, when you found out we were playing Florida State? How were your feelings initially?
I mean, it was crazy because we're going to church, and my wife was like, "How crazy would that be if Georgia and Florida State didn't make it in and they end up playing each other?" And I was like,
she called it 100% right.
So messed up, and sure enough, that's what happened. It's kind of a weird situation, but it'll be a true testament to say, and I get it. Florida State, I think that they got hosed, but it'll also say you didn't belong there, because Georgia's probably going to beat the brakes off of them,
even with reserves.
Yeah, even with the probably the way that they beat TCU, and then then all of a sudden the committee is going to be looking like gold, and then they're just going to say, "I told you so."
Then Georgia, then
compete.
the national media would look at Georgia and be like, "Why were you left out again?"
Yeah, exactly.
Well, actually, no, because they were down to a second or third string quarterback, so it doesn't matter.
Right.
That's my initial thought when I saw we got paired up, and I was like, this feels like a group of five when we played Cincinnati.
Yep.
Because if we lose, you lost to a third string, second string quarterback. If you win, you beat the second or third string quarterback.
Yeah, you should have won. Yeah.
Like you were the number one team.
Yeah.
We should have been in the fucking playoffs, but here we are. Playing in the division of motor vehicles, miserable, you know?
Yeah.
Let's see. Kevin Hua says, I think an angry Florida State could have the mindset of let's make a statement to the committee and put up a good game against Georgia. I'm not going to knock their defense for what it's worth.
Yeah.
I just don't know if it's enough to stop up because you're gonna have opt-outs on both sides.
Yeah.
Like you're gonna have now. The question is, do guys like Jared Verse? I'll tell you this right now, way too early. Those receivers, they got some big motherfucking receivers. Some big receivers, like Keon Coleman if he plays, dude. Like Wilson, I think is his name, like 6'7" or something. Please don't put Dalen Everett on him.
Yeah. Yeah.
Good God. No. I mean, Kevin has a good point though, right? Like we don't know what mentalities they're going to have, right? They could come out with a chip on their shoulder. I would think Florida State would have that chip on their shoulder. A lot of the fans make it seem like they shouldn't even be playing in this bowl game to prove a point. And I'm like, I low-key understand. Like, you know what I mean? Like I low-key understand why you're pissed off.
Yeah.
Again, though, man, like what you do, you sit here, you play the game this year, knowing good and damn well next year when there's 12 teams, it won't matter. It won't matter, guys. This is the last year of 4 teams before you go to 12.
Yep.
And with that being said, if you still good next year, see us then in the playoffs with the actual natty on the line.
Yeah.
But no, I mean Kevin does have a good point there, Juan. I think it's good. They can. I mean, I think defensively they can give us some fits depending on who we're playing, right? Like our guys.
Yeah.
Ultimately, the 4 quarters, I don't see nobody being as deep as us, man. Even with guys opting out, I'd still argue that we got the deepest team in the country. Combine that with an unmotivated Georgia, reminds him of a 2018 Sugar Bowl, the Texas game. Yeah, the we're back now that's finally coming to fruition for Texas, right?
Yeah.
Took them long enough, but I guess Ellinger's curse. No, they got to win the Natty for that. They got to win the national title for them to be back, right? I mean, they're back in the playoffs, I guess. Yeah. They're in the playoffs, which is cool. But yeah, no, other than that, though, I mean, I think Georgia's got some proof. Listen, this will be basically next year's team because it was like, I just think that's what's going to happen.
Yeah.
You can't really say that 100% of what it looked like. You can't really say that. You could say that against TCU last year, but the 2 years during the playoff runs, you didn't really see a lot of that. But the year prior in 2020, you basically saw next year's team playing. Just what happens. So, oh damn, Juan, I love how as soon as we're about to get off, you start getting comments again. How do we handle this? If that dude riding Renegade throws a spear at Uga, we're gonna have problems. I'll donkey kick his ass off.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I hope Uga. Oh no, hell no. If he throws a spear at him, if Osceola does that, Uga, Boom hasn't been tamed yet as much. Boom will bite that motherfucking horse's ankle.
Oh yeah.
I hope he does, and I hope Osceola falls off and stubs his toe on the way down. I ain't gonna wish nobody a severe injury, but stubbing your toe is okay.
Yeah.
But you don't mess with Uga. Why? That's why I can't wait. Whenever we see Texas again, they get back a motherfucker. I'm just gonna leave that there because Uga ain't forgot. Sorry, Uga X didn't forget.
For sure.
Guys, that's all we've got for tonight. Juan, we kind of just ad-libbed that last little bit. Sorry about that. Juan, it's time for you to go get some sleep. You got to start getting your elves ready to go make some toys for all the kids.
That's true. Wanta Claus.
Oh, guys. I think it's fun, Juan. We've got some. Make sure to hit the thumbs up. Because again, you're seeing Wanta Claus. Drop a wish list, guys. He makes toys. Shh. So, Kevin says he's a Texas fan, but it'll be a fun matchup. And oh man, Juan, are you planning on going out to Austin for that or no?
No.
You'll probably be going to Stanford.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Keon, we're gonna have to. You realize Keon don't have to be like live from the game.
Yeah.
Because he's in Dallas, so Keon don't have to go to that. I'm pretty sure he'll be going to that game. Yeah. But other than that, though, man, that's a good show. Mitch says, love you guys. We're going to be just fine. Yeah, no doubt, man. Guys, it's 29 straight wins can't be taken away from us.
Nope.
This ain't Joe Pa, all right?
Nope.
This ain't the inevitable Mitch. Mitch, this ain't the inevitable Jim Harbaugh either.
Yeah.
All right, no, hold on. Connor, hold on, dude. Listen, I know you want to talk Florida State, but seriously, like, dude, Florida, come on now, stop. Shout out Eli Drinkwitz on that one. The only time I'm gonna give you a shout out. That shit was funny. Other than that, though, guys, we're gonna wrap this thing up. Juan, any final thoughts? Any quick final thoughts? No, yes, either way.
Looking forward to Wednesday.
Yes. Oh man, I can't wait for Juan to be back on the show more.
And go Dogs.
We might, you know what? Though? We might even have to make a change. Maybe push it to 9:30. See how that works.
Let's get it.
Let us know in the comments if you think 9:30 is better for you. I know it'll be better for Juan in his sleep schedule.
Yeah.
Other than that, have a great night. Have a good morning if you're watching it in the morning. If you're listening on podcasts as well. Make sure to like, follow, subscribe, rate, and review. And with that being said, have a great night, good morning, and go Dogs.
Go Dogs.